At the center of Uganda's political scene are two starkly contrasting figures: President Yoweri Museveni, who has been in power since 1986, and Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, also known as Bobi Wine, a musician turned politician who galvanized young and urban voters in 2021. In that election, Museveni won with 58% of the vote, while Kyagulanyi earned roughly 35%, his strongest showing yet. However, the numbers mask deeper truths about unequal freedoms on the ground. Over the past year, domestic and international human rights monitors have documented a climate of fear, including heavy-handed policing, media freedom infringement, and opposition supporters either assaulted, arrested, or detained.
All these people whom I see contesting in parties or what, they are Ugandans, and they want to lead Uganda. What drives them, what is at the center, should be governing Uganda and Ugandans. But now from what has been happening since the liberal democracy came, for the last, we are going into 20 years now, the last 20 years, the multi-party political system has been fought very seriously by the president and his so-called movement party, which thinks that anybody who is not in that party is not a Ugandan, he doesn't love Uganda, and is not entitled to enjoy any human rights in this country. That's what they do.
Here in Uganda, it is really important that there should be a free and fair election without any form of intimidation.
In the past year, the opposition National Unity Platform, NUP party, often reported several of their supporters detained illegally. In December 2025, Kyagulanyi and his supporters were beaten by individuals in military and police uniform during campaigns in Gulu City, northern Uganda. A memorable scene that has attracted widespread condemnation, with similar incidents following him on the campaign trail. The United Nations Human Rights Chief Volker Turk has since expressed concern about enforced disappearances and extrajudicial detentions, all which violate international laws, ahead of the January 15th pause. Meanwhile, veteran politician Dr. Kizza Besigye remains in detention on treason charges after being seized in Nairobi, Kenya in 2024. In January 2025, the Constitutional Court, in a landmark judgment, ruled against a trial of civilians in military courts. However, the 11th Parliament, under the leadership of Speaker Anita Among, passed a controversial reinstating military prosecution of civilians, effectively handing back power to the military courts, a move critics say threatens civil liberties and fair trial rights. At the same time, community leaders and civil society activists have warned that lack of meaningful voter education, especially in rural areas, is making citizens vulnerable to manipulation and disenfranchisement. For Kyagulanyi and his supporters, the upcoming election is more than a political contest. It's a battle for the soul of the nation. He has consistently framed his campaign as a rejection of decades of what he describes as authoritarian rule, promising constitutionalism, independent institutions, and an end to human rights abuses. President Museveni, now over 80 years and seeking a record 7th term of his ruling national resistance movement, says the actions his government has taken are necessary to maintain security. Several Ugandans remain skeptical about whether the electoral playfield can ever be leveled sufficient for meaningful competition, even as they are repeatedly being ordered to vote and leave the polling stations.
The past experiences and episodes we have witnessed at certain polling stations, which were disrupted, where results could not be declared because of violence, which was caused or perpetrated by people who kept hanging around the polling station. Can we avoid that in 2026? And once again, I want to appeal to the candidates. You are true, real, lawful vote protectors are the agents you are going to deploy at the polling station. Not this individual who is standing 20 meters away. Those are the real vote protectors.
This political drama unfolds a broader concern that without complete rule of law, polls are becoming a ritual of legitimacy rather than a reflection of public will. Meanwhile, a section of the youth, who make up over 70% share of the population, believe an election is a ray of hope for a future where dissent is not met with detention or violence.
You want to beat us, you want to tell us we are reckless, but then you're seeing police arresting young people for nothing. There's a young lady who was undressed yesterday. We wouldn't get this news if police wasn't doing all these acts, would we? But we come here and the narrative we are hearing is that young people are violent. The state is violent every day. We are traumatized.
Who has the power? I think when you're speaking that people have the power, but I think power is in a few. I think right now, Simon, if you are to speak, yes, what you say will be final. Even us here, shall not. Even Professor might agree with you. So the power is with a few of you, but not with the people.
We have been studying and hearing our elders talking about you are the future leaders of tomorrow. We are already in our future. We don't have a chance to lead. The time I go back to my village to stand as an MP, trust me, I don't have even 1%.
As the D-Day for Uganda's 2026 poll on January 15th draws near, this beautiful nation, the Pearl of Africa, stands at crossroads between entrenched incumbency and a turbulent demand for democratic renewal. Whether this next election will mark a turning point or deepen the cycle of perceived control remains to be seen. The stakes could not be higher for a nation hoping to translate ballots into genuine democracy.